Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is Dee, and today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is Ten of Bows and Responsibility. And we've talked about this before. Just some of the meanings and the reading points about it is, responsibility is a challenge, yet, brings, what it does is it brings that inner fortitude and stamina and determination. And one of the things that I look upon this card is the burden that this guy is carrying, for his tribe, for his collective, for, whatever is going on. And, most of us are feeling that burden of responsibility going on right now, as we're all shut in with the COVID-19 and, trying to figure out, where we're going in life, and, back in the, 40, 50, 60 years ago, that responsibility was, on the man. Now it's a shared responsibility between the head of household and, and the spouse, or significant other. The biggest thing on that is, if you do share it, share it responsibly, make sure that, there's communication going on and you're talking about things and, making sure that, things get done in the right way. And just, every day, just communicate, your feelings, communicate, where you're at financially. That way, both of you, know what's going on, And some families take that a little bit, step further. They include, sons and daughters in that conversation. So there's awareness. So, nowadays, it may be a heavy burden. All right. And, we could look back and say, wow, wasn't life great when, 3 weeks ago when we weren't going through all this stuff. But, at the end of the day, when you lay your head down and you think about it, you still have a house, you still have family, you're still fighting to stay safe, and everybody's doing their best, during these hard times. So, anything that that happens will make us stronger or make us better, and then ultimately, when we look back on this after years, it could be better for everybody. It's a greater good for all. Some of the reading points around this card is, for those that have the responsibility, whether they want it or not, you need to accept it. Just accept the fact that, that burden's upon you, that, the tribe or the community or the collective is, place that burden upon you. Take that with, with a sense of pride, with a sense of good humor, and welcome the challenge. Be humble about it, and be enthusiastic about it. I think of, when I'm working on projects or anything like that, that's when, I really don't want to volunteer for that. But okay, you want me to volunteer for it? I'll be humble. I'll try to do the best I can, have some enthusiasm, and move forward. Nowadays, with being locked up in a house and working from home and, sharing that responsibility with your significant other, your spouse, or, with a family, it's, some people handle stress a different way. They try to, find humor in it. And, there's people out there posting stuff on Facebook, with all the humor of, tackling coronas and, the virus, and, it's a day by day saga. That's how they're dealing with, what's happening with being locked up inside and the stay at home. And I shouldn't even say locked up, let's just rephrase that to being stay at home. They're finding, the humor in the challenging it, to continue to, live life as if nothing's ever happened, except, now we don't have to go to work, or we just work from home. The other part of that too is, every day, instead of doing the woe is me, look at the opportunities that, have, presented themselves. I know for myself, I'm not a handyman, but I've taken care of a couple handy things around the house. And as a result of that, I've become more confident. And, that's allowed me to grow. Now I know how to use a level and a drill and a hammer and things of that nature. Know how to fix a shower handle faucet. I have the confidence, even though it's small. I mean, it's very small. It's not big. But it's given me the confidence to look at bigger things like build a house. Ain't gonna happen with this guy. We're gonna find somebody else to build that house. But what it does is it gives you that confidence to grow, to tackle the small things because you've done it before. with that responsibility, you know, the task may be steep, you know, but once you understood it and the many life lessons that can be learned from it. You know, I know when I was putting up the closet stuff here a couple of weeks ago, you know, I was talking to my dad. My dad's been passed on for 10 years now. It'll be 10 years this July. And, you know, I look back at that and said, you know what, Dad? You know, he was a carpenter. You know, he knew he would do things the right way. And, you know, I was just talking to him all night long while I was putting up that closet rod and just, you know, okay, how do I do this? You know, how do I make it more secure? And, you know, nothing against the previous owners, but, you know, they didn't have things, you know, attached to studs or anything like that. It was just drywall, and that's why, you know, the rod continued to fall out. But, you know, I knew that, you know, in order to have a strong clothes hanger rod, it needed to have some stability behind it. And, you know, I bought the necessary parts for it and put it up. So, you know, I took that responsibility on myself. And, you know, I didn't need to hire somebody for that, but, you know, I was talking to my dad during the process and, you know, helped me out with this. You know, and again, that's that little confidence that you know, that allowed me to grow and move forward on it. And at the same time, you know, as I talk about this, it may seem like a small thing to you guys, but it's a big thing to me, you know, and, you know, those that are close to me, you know, they seen what I was doing, and, you know, there's a little bit of respect, there's a little bit of honor, there's a little bit of, you know, wow, this guy, you know, he can probably do something like this, you know, and, you know, I joke about it all the time. I'm not a handyman, you know, I don't wish to be a handyman. That's not, you know, that's not what I was made for. I was made for, communicating and being in radio and things on that nature. Unfortunately, I didn't follow those dreams. You know, I continued, you know, on a different path. But, you know, that is what it is. But as, you know, I know I got some respect out of it, you know, with those that, you know, that know what's going on. And, you know, I was able to complete the task, and, you know, that's the responsibility I have. And, you know, I even have more responsibility, you know, to do things like that around the house, to, you know, fix things up, to make sure that things are working properly and, you know, in good condition, things of that nature. Because it's just not for me. It's, you know, it's also for the resale of the house if I decide to move or something like that. So, you know, and I was able to communicate some of that to my peers as well as, you know, friends of mine. And, you know, communicating to that, they could hear the confidence in my voice. They could hear the, you know, the joy that I had in doing something, you know, and as a result, you know, you gain that trust with them, you know, because then they could say, you know, hey, I'm starting to build a deck. You want to come over and give me a hand? It's like, yeah, you know, I can hand you a piece of wood and a nail or whatnot, but, you know, I ain't going to cut anything, you know. It's not that I can't. It's just, it's one of those situations where around power equipment, you know, I'm a little shy. And, you know, once you get me going on something, I'm pretty good. But, you know, I try to take a lot of safe precautions around stuff like that because I've seen too many incidences where, you know, safety procedures weren't followed and people get hurt. So, you know, once you start gaining that trust, as you taking on that responsibility, your self-worth and your self-respect start to grow. And that's, you know, part of this burden that we carry, especially nowadays, is the responsibility of maintaining a home and responsibility of being a father, responsibility about being a husband or a significant other. You know, those are, you know, pretty high responsibilities to have within a household. And if you can keep everybody happy during these times of, you know, stay at home and, you know, being able to go out for a walk as a family. And, you know, I talked about this a couple weeks ago when this all started, is, you know, learning to grow as that family, learning to, you know, go back to that relationship, you know, the storming, forming, norming. And, you know, for me, and it's always been like this, it's just, you know, we have to communicate. You have to talk about the feelings. You have to talk about, you know, how you feel about something. All right. You can't let something brew, because if you're, you know, within a home and, you know, you got 900 square feet and each of you've got 300 to play with, you know, you're not going to be able to draw those lines within that house too good. You're always going to be running into somebody. So, you know, have those communications with the family members, take on that responsibility, And, you know, share it. Share it with everybody. Share it with the boys. Share it with the girls. Share it with your wife, your significant other, however you want to look at it. All right? So, you know, that's today's card, 10 of Bows, responsibility. Hit that like button for me and share it with others. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody, and God bless. Stay safe.